Math, absolute value. All right, focus, focus, focus. Now, absolute value, we are measuring the distance from, all right, hold on, shake it out, shake it out. I messed up. All right, we're good, all right. When we are measuring absolute value, as we learned yesterday, we are measuring the distance a point is on a number line from what number? Type it in chat right now. Man, everybody's getting this question right. It's almost like you knew that this question was coming. It's amazing. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, when we are measuring the absolute value of a digit or a point, we are going to be measuring how far that specific point is away from 0. Now, recap on number lines real quick. Any number to the left of 0, a number to the left of 0 is going to be what? Negative or positive? Look at all these responses. We still got one wrong. I'm confused about that one. Yes. Braden, get serious. A number to the left of 0 is going to be negative. And then if we have numbers to the right of 0, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Is our numbers going to be positive or negative? You guys got the answer out before I could even ask it. I love that. Positive. Great job. Now, so when we're using absolute value, we are measuring the distance, a point is away from 0. Okay? So, ladies and gentlemen, is absolute value going to be positive or negative? Is absolute value going to be positive or negative? When it goes back to this idea, oh my gosh. Whoa! I didn't trip. It's going to be positive. And the reason is, it's like if we've got a ruler, right? If I asked you to measure something with a ruler, like how long are my glasses? My glasses are like 6.5 inches long, right? I'm measuring a positive distance. You can only measure positives when you're measuring distance. You can't measure a -3 distance. You can measure 3 inches that way, or you can measure 3 inches that way, but it'll never be a negative distance. That would be like going backwards into space-time and ripping apart our dimensions, which would probably kill us all. So please don't try to do that. Okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, ripping space-time is bad. So distances, I don't want that color. So distances, why are you down there? I don't want you writing down here. I want you up here. Technology. My Chromebook's not working. I will be editing this out of the video. Oh my goodness. Let's try this again. Get a pen. Okay, it's working. So distance, ladies and gentlemen, is always positive. Okay? It's just like time. Time is always measured in positive. We can't go backwards in time. And if we did yes, I had a massive meltdown. You're right. If we did manage to go backwards in time, we'd probably kill ourselves, like ourselves as in humanity. It would be really bad. So the thing that I want to talk to you about, this is the kind of just a recap of yesterday. Today, let's mathematically talk about absolute value. So if I want to find the, oh my gosh, I like my iPad so much better. Find the absolute value of 7. And we're going to do negative 27 as well. So ladies and gentlemen, the absolute value of 7. Well, if I'm looking at a number line, right? This is 0. This is 7. How many spaces away from 0 am I? Okay, so we would say that the absolute value of 7 equals 7. Now, this part right here, we need to figure out how we're going to write this differently because, ladies and gentlemen, mathematicians are efficient. Mathematicians like to do things quickly. And writing out the words absolute value of 7 is way too long for a mathematician. Some of you take a mathematician's approach on your work and you just try to get it done quickly. But mathematicians do it accurately as well. That's the difference. So if I'm talking about the absolute value of 7, I'm going to write it like that. What we have here is a brand new grouping symbol. In the past, you may have seen problems where we've had this. Oops, times. Okay, and we started talking about order of operations, right? And we know that the parentheses we need to deal with first. You might have even seen some problems that have an additional bracket around it, right? So we're adding a new grouping symbol. We have the brackets, we have the parentheses, and we have absolute value now. So that's where it falls in our order of operations. But the two lines up and down just simply mean, what's the absolute value of 7? Well, we already talked about it. The absolute value of 7 is 7. So on your own, we're going to now figure out, do this, write this down or just look at it. Josue, perfect. Yeah, you just did that. What is the absolute value of negative 27? Type it in chat now. I see a lot of right answers. Good. So, ladies and gentlemen, the absolute value of negative 27 is 27. Does anybody want to unmute and try to explain why it is negative, or why the absolute value of negative 27 is 27? If you do, I will give you a point. Josue, go ahead and unmute yourself. Explain why negative 27's absolute value is 27.
It's because it's 27 steps away from 0.
Fantastic. Perfect. And that's absolute value. Josue, you just got yourself and your team a point. It's 27 steps away from 0. Does not matter in which way. It just matters we're 27 steps. Okay? Now, give me a thumbs up in chat, thumbs down in chat, equal sign in chat, how you're feeling about absolute value right now. Good. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to make it a little bit more challenging. A little bit more challenging. Okay? Because you're going to see problems like this. Now, I want you to tell me which symbol would you put in the middle? which symbol would you put in the middle? Take a look at it. Think about it. So, okay, I'm seeing a lot of varied answers. Josue, good job. Leo, good job. So let's work each of these out. Class, what is the absolute value of negative 27? Well, we just literally answered that question. The absolute value of negative 27 is 27. Right? Now, here's my question. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. We're going to focus on this part right here first. What is 27's absolute value, class? Absolute value of 27 is 27, right? So I've solved the brackets, but now I still have the negative sign. So what is the opposite of 27? Well, it's negative 27. So our problem, once we've simplified it down a little bit, is now 27 compared to negative 27. Do we see how I got negative 27 out of this up here? Correct answer is this. Okay, so let me break it down one more time, and then we'll take it and we'll address this in small groups if we need to. The reason why this is different is the location of the negative sign. Okay, in this case, the absolute value of 6 is 6 because that's what this is asking us right here. But this part right here, if I was to write it out, it's what is the opposite of the absolute value of 6. Whereas down here, this one's just asking me, oh, come on. This thing does not like working very well. What is the absolute value of negative 6? Okay. Do we see the difference between these two questions? The fact that the negative sign here, let me change color. The fact that this negative sign right here is on the outside of the absolute value, this isn't the absolute value of negative 6. This is the opposite of the absolute value of 6. We have to convert the math symbols into basically reading at this point. Okay? So the top one reads, what is the opposite of the absolute value of 6? Well, the opposite of the absolute value of 6 is going to be negative 6. The absolute value of negative 6, well, how many steps away from it are we? Well, it's 6 steps. Okay? It's a very small difference. It's a very small difference. But this is something that you're going to start seeing questions on. I don't know which way I need to point, so we're going to point every way. Okay? You're going to start seeing questions on this, ladies and gentlemen, that we need to make sure that we are taking the time and the focus on making sure that we are doing this correctly. Okay? Read it as if you would read a book.